I want to know that significant experience you had. That experience that you had that actually turned your mindset or turned the way you think.
For me, I would say it's everybody taking responsibility. So you take responsibility of whatever it is you're doing. That has come to be a part of the things I do since I returned.
What I have actually learned, I'm not living because I just want to get satisfied. I'm living a life. Since I returned, everything about my orientation has changed.
One particular mind shift that I got after the trip, I learned that for everything I do, I should be mindful of how it impacts the next person, be it positive
Or negative.
The way I saw the way people were doing things in China. Before you see someone move from point A to point B, there must be a target. So this idea have shifted my mind that even in my business now, I don't just do this because I want to do it.
Every action.
There must be a target about anything you do. So if we have this shifting in mind, I think we will have a better society there.
Hello, welcome to Clockwise. My name is Providence, and today will be a very interesting one. And I have some interesting guests, some young entrepreneurs. They're into different walks of life. You see, they have got one specific exposure that I want us to have a conversation around. What that exposure is going to do to them and also to their business. Welcome again to Clockwise. Now, I'll not do the introduction like I used to do before. I'll allow them to tell us what they do, their names, and from there we'll start the conversation from that place. Please, let's start from.
All right, thank you so very much, Providence, for bringing us to Clockwise. My name is Ediong Senyin Ndunobong, but I like to be called MC Smasher. So I'm a master of ceremonies, I'm a farmer, and I'm an environmentalist. So what again do you want to know about me?
I know you're married already.
Yeah, I'm married.
I know why I said you're married and you're the first. Other people also introduce themselves.
No, I like the fact that you gave me that honor.
You want to use marriage and screen
So
us?
now the single people should start.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, my name is Godwin Udobut. I am a computer scientist. I am a renewable energy engineer. I am the CEO of Jowens Technology Limited.
So you're CEO.
Yes. So it's nice to be clockwise for the first time.
All right, thank you.
Okay, my name is Nimnobong Okana Ibanga. I am an agriculturist and also an environmental scientist.
Okay.
It's my pleasure appearing in Clockwise for the first time. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, my name is Odudobong Ndiok. I'm a mariner by profession, but currently I'm a shoemaker with Babsy shoes, and also I produce palm oil.
It's beautiful that everybody's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to understand is that I want to actually understand what's that exposure to China. That exposure to China. That visit. That's a visit or excursion to China. Better use excursion to China. What has it really done to your business, to what you could do? I'll start from.
Okay, so since I am always the open-eyed quiet, so you wouldn't say an excursion or you say a study visit.
Okay, study
visit. Because all of us went to a respective academy. For instance, like myself, I went to the Academy for International Business Officials, IBO. I've had experiences, but this particular one, has been life-changing and mind reorientating sort of, because if you've been on that trip and then you don't have a change in mindset, your orientation about life and your outlook towards business, how you operate does not change, there's a problem. And like we would say in our common parlance, I think it would be beyond village people, because a lot must have been happening around you, just arriving alone in China, seeing the ambience and how intentional the people, get involved in business. In fact, the first word as a business person that came to my mind was, or the first people I remembered was like, wow, Naibo people be this. So because the way those guys
are doing business.
Yeah, the way they operate. And for a typical Chinese business person, so long he has a profit of 1 yuan, he will sell. He will not leave his shop.
Okay, they are not actually fixated on profit.
You will not leave. No, that do you get? I said, so long there's something for them to go with from that transaction.
Yeah,
you will not leave your shop. There's no point you when you come and leave the shop. You must buy. And if you buy one, and like it's done in normal supermarkets. If they buy one, perhaps they make less profit. Yeah, there's somewhere again they will catch you, because if you buy one, it will interest you to buy more. So you see the way they operate, the way they transact is quite different. So it's actually a trip that opened my mind to a lot of worldview, especially to how the Chinese operate. So it's worked well.
Okay, you Hassan, you're into solar. Yeah, right now. How has that actually affected your mindset towards electricity or power generation?
Getting to a place where you don't really know if the electricity you're having in the house you're staying is either solar,
You don't know the source.
whether it's generator.
You're not seeing panels there?
The buildings are too tall that you cannot even see the roof, not to talk of seeing the panels. So, but in some buildings, I see panels, not the one we do, maybe 1 or 20 panels there. You begin to say, oh, I've done, I've installed solar in my house. I mean, when you see, I saw panels on top of water. I mean big water, and you are seeing panel, the way they lay it. And you now know that you are in a country where people think different from where you're coming from when they're talking about technology. I went to a place in China. I met people, saw an environment where everybody is intentional about what they want to achieve, not just for themselves, for the entire country. And you notice that it is only maybe when you switch off the bulb by yourself, that is, you are intentionally putting off light in your room to see darkness, like I did in my room. I called him. I said, I want to take light too. I want to do like Nigeria. When I off it, you now shout, oh, NEPA. And when I slot in the car, you shout again and say, oh, NEPA. So I did it. And I was all looking at myself saying, this is a country where people are ready to do the right thing, where people are willing to see their country work.
Was it about the people or was it about the government?
In China, you're not talking about government, you're talking about people. That is why they call the country People's Republic of China. It is not Federal Republic of China. It is the people the people come together and say,
they are
the government. They are not, it's not the one that you say, oh, we have president in Abuja. Let the president take the decision. Whatever the president is saying, everybody is taking that decision and follow it to the letter. If they said they want to convert these pedestrians on this road to where they want to lay solar panel, and they need boys, young citizens to come and volunteer. You see people enough that is ready.
Do you think it's not about it's about their mindsets? Is something wrong with our mindset?
No, we have the same mindset.
It's not about the mindset.
Because I don't see a situation where the government will say
it's a sincerity of purpose.
Yes.
But on the path of
the leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And then, for instance, let me take you back home. It's like when your dad says, Providence, I will buy you bread coming back from work. And then he makes sure that he buys that bread for you coming back from work. And then you are certain that whenever my dad's returned from work, he's going to buy bread
people
for
actually
me.
trust their
And
leaders.
then, so you have that confidence in your father. So there is no how your father will send you on an errand that he will buy bread or
You will do it.
you deliver. Because there is that mutual understanding, there's that mutual respect, there's that value that your father has created around you, so that there's trust. You have confidence that even if your father perhaps someday fails to buy that bread, you understand that there was something beyond his reach had happened or something. You'll be worried.
Okay.
And then that even if at some point people wants to rise against your father because of his past record, his antecedents,
You still trust it.
you still trust it and you deliver as much as
Now, which of the area you go into different places?
Myself and Numnoban, we were at Fujian Agricultural.
Because I was saying you were doing something with mushroom. Was that mushroom?
Yeah, that was mushroom. It was a real mushroom.
You were there also.
Yeah.
Yes.
So please give us the experience. What kind of experience you have there?
Okay, the experiences I drew from China, I would say I benefited the most because when I looked at my study itinerary and it's actually matched with my field of study, agriculture. We went there to undertake a seminar and a training on Jinta industrial development in African Anglophone countries. Now, what actually has the training done to me? The training has enlightened me in two aspects, and one of the aspects is environmental protection, and the other side is about the concept of agriculture, making food available for the people. Over there in China, I discovered that food is very cheap. You know, they have their yuan, we have our naira. And in China, you can still get a plate of food for as low as 20 yuan,
20
50 yuan.
And that's how much in there?
If you
20
bring it,
yuan, you
if you
should
bring
be
it here
talking
to
about
Naira, it will be
maybe
around
probably
4,000
2,000
something because of
is
the
it? No, is it?
yeah,
Exchange rate.
yeah,
Exchange
4,000
rate,
because of the
yeah.
exchange rate.
Okay.
But on a norm to them, it's just like you using your naira,
Yeah,
they're using
yeah,
their
20
so
naira to buy food.
basically food is still affordable. So I had a conversation with one of the Chinese. Why is it that you people have a lot of food? For instance, if you want to eat in China, then we are just, let's say the 5 of us, the table set before us. The people bringing the food bring that food in such a way that
It is
you
looks
will
like
eat, get satisfied, and what will be left
it's more than what you have eaten.
is more than what you have eaten. I don't know if it was because we were visitors, they were trying to, but there's food in China. I was like, how come that irrespective of the population you have, food is still very sufficient in China? And the guy said, you know, some decades ago, China was very poor. And they were always
third-world
very
nations, like,
hungry.
Poorer than Nigeria.
Yeah,
And at some point, it got to a point in some of the provinces that mothers would eat their children. So when that happened, the government, the people were like, how do we remedy this problem? Everybody was focused on just that one problem, food sufficiency. And what the government did was that they sought the knowledge of the academia, the professors, that they should go into research. All the plants, everything growing in China that are plants, they should research any of them that can be consumed, then someone will not die. They should research and bring them.
That was why I ate bamboo.
That was how they brought in bamboo.
You ate bamboo?
I ate bamboo.
The bamboo we
sheet.
use here in construction. That was how bamboo came in. Yes,
Everything bang.
Yes, I eat
that was how they
bamboo.
brought in bamboo. They brought in all the vegetables. They brought in a lot of things, and they declared as food.
Wow.
That was how it started. So you just, that's how they eat a lot of grasses. You just eat just to get satisfaction. Then with time, they kind of, invested, modified, invest in the agricultural sector to attain food sufficiency. In the aspect of making sure that I can afford the food I want to eat, I can have money in my hands. That was the reason when the technology, the Jintao technology that borders around using grass to cultivate edible and medicinal mushroom was discovered 2 decades ago by Professor Lin Zhanqi of Fujian University.
You really wanted to study.
Yes.
The way you actually
Of,
calculate
yeah. When the man brought about the technology, the government they invested a lot. Now the technology now has its own research institute, a giant building. Then they are sending the technology across the world. That was when I discovered that mushroom is
essential commodity.
an essential part of the Chinese and European diets.
Right.
Over here,
our little mushroom that we do here.
yeah, over here we don't value mushroom. How did the man come about the technology? Prior to when the technology was discovered, they used wood to grow their mushroom.
Sawdust.
Like what we have here.
Yeah, sawdust.
So what happened is that per time that you want to grow a large quantity of the mushroom, a forest has to be bring down. You have to bring down a forest so that you get the forest resource, the trees, they use it to grow. So the man had this problem. Bringing down this forest is degrading our environment. It's negatively impacting the environment. Then the man had a target, mitigating environmental degradation and also making food available. So that was when the man went into research and discovered that the Jintao grass can be used to grow mushroom instead of using the wood. The man gave it a try, it worked, picked the microphone, went on evangelism, informed the government, and they invested.
The Jintao grass is not only used for.
That was how.
It can be used to control erosion, deforestation.
So
It
many
can be
things,
used. They can be used as poultry feed.
That was how they were able to use the grass to grow the mushroom. Since the technology is okay here, their extension mechanism, agricultural extension mechanism there is very active. So they send it to the local people and people bought the idea because being able to produce mushroom put food on your table. For example, one of the mushroom, Ganoderma lucidum, is medicinal mushroom.
Yeah.
Half a kilo of that mushroom in Nigeria currency, you can sell it for 14,400. The local people, they are now into the business.
Of mushroom cultivation.
You grow mushroom. When you grow it, you
The
take it to
government
the local
buys it.
Yes,
It's the government that buys it from them.
No, it's not
you
just.
can sell it in your local market.
You can sell it. You can sell it in their local market.
Okay.
You can export it.
Now, this is the beauty about the Chinese market. They're linking it with the belt, the road and belt
Initiative.
You can stay in one of the most remote villages in Oborokara, and you don't have any business to do it coming to you. You know, when we walked into the studio and I saw the chain on his neck, and I remember the bullet train. So with the bullet train, in less than 2 hours. No, Igbo
2
Oka
hours.
Igbo Oka is not
So
far.
Igbo Oka
Igbo Oka
is
is
not
not
far, so you
far.
can't
So
take
in about 30 minutes
30 minutes
or less.
The train is in Uyo.
So your fresh farm produce from Oboroka, the remotest part of Oboroka you can imagine, is in Uyo, and your client is already eating fresh. So perhaps now with this initiative, you would find out that people in Uyo, because it's a proper urban area, it's the work culture is different. It's not the rural, the agricultural setting. So people go into their offices. So you don't really need to cultivate the land here in Uyo, because perhaps most of the land space has been used for urbanization, and then the other space that is left is for environmental conservation. Intentionally constructing, building, planting trees, and all of that to conserve the environment. So people in Oboroka, their business is to farm proper, and then send their farm produce fresh to you, and then someone in you eats fresh, as if it's just harvesting from the garden behind his house.
That was how the technology came to there. Then one important thing that I also discovered that is helping me once I kickstart is, over here in Nigeria, the
cost going to mushroom cultivation?
Not necessarily mushroom
Well,
cultivation.
not that even if you don't do mushroom, if you plant gentile grass only and teach people how to convert the gentile grass to mushroom subscript, you can be making money even as you are.
You can be making money.
A lot of money.
Then an aspect that interests me the more is that over here in Nigeria, our meat products are very expensive because the cost of feed with feed our animals is also very expensive. So I was happy when I got to discover that one of the advantages of the gentile grass is that it can be used to formulate animal feed. It substitutes the protein feedstuff like the soybeans that we use over here, which is very expensive. Protein is the most expensive part of our diet.
Yes.
So I got to discover that using the gentile grass itself to formulate your feed will reduce the cost by 30%. The cost of the feed. Then if the cost of the feed is reduced by 30%, indirectly it will reflect in the cost of the animal product.
We have the ginger, we have it around here.
Yes, we have some classes of gentile grass. The one we call elephant grass is part of it.
Okay.
Elephant grass is the family.
The family, yes. Then we also have the other one that is called lemongrass.
It's also part of it.
It's also part of it.
You're into shoemaking.
Yeah.
Now, what part? Where did you go to? Like which area?
Okay. I was in Beijing. We went to Beijing Jiatong University. Is one of the oldest universities in China. They are into they really teach about the engineering and management and transportation.
Okay.
It's a transportation university. So I was trained on supply chain and logistics, supply chain management and logistics.
Okay.
That was basically our training. I think one thing I really learned in China is the way the Chinese people do their supply chains, from the production to the packaging to the transportation to the maybe the sub dealer, then to the consumer. It's a long chain. But in China, I get to understand that there's this company, Rainbow. This company went to in Chengdu. It's Rainbow, it's Rainbow Logistics Company. That's one of the biggest logistics company I went to in China. So I discovered that the way they do their packaging is not the way we do it here. Because I would do okay, like me, I'm doing shoes. I'll make a shoe. I'll just call a customer. Okay, I'm through with your shoe. I know it's a small business though. I've not really gotten to that stage yet, but I know we'll get there someday. Now, when you see these big companies, they do their packaging in another way. And the logistics company will do their own packaging when sending out these products.
So outside what the company
outside,
the company that
like
produce.
I'm just making shoes.
Okay.
I'm working with you. You are my logistics company. I just make the shoe and give to you.
So I'll now do the packaging.
Do your own. The packaging that you do will make even the other attracted to the product.
Okay.
You understand? So the packaging aspect of business in China not really on the producers. I see that even the middlemen, the supply chain, the logistics people, they also do their own packaging too.
Okay.
So this helps in the business growth there too. Yeah.
Okay. You're an environmentalist.
Yeah.
Now, there's something I'm always very fascinated about China. First, their population.
Yeah.
Over 1.something billion.
1.4 billion.
1.4 billion.
Massive.
Now, you said that they have houses, right?
People
are not living on the
no,
street.
Yeah.
no.
What kind of environmental solution do you think they actually employ to ensure that they can actually keep those people in one particular nation?
Okay, so this I got to discover in China, nobody really owns land. The land is owned by the government.
Nobody.
So,
Even
like,
some houses.
it,
Nobody
um,
owns houses.
Nobody owns estates.
Estates.
The estate is owned by the government.
Governments.
When I was in China, I would see plenty stories of building. What we have at Dodoma, I was asking myself, how many times have they been commissioning this building like this? Because the one in Dodoma, I think they did about 2, or commissioned about twice or thereabout. You can't even cite that kind of building.
That kind of building
too-
is small.
it's
It's
too
a small.
small.
It's one of the smallest building.
Do you understand? It's too small.
The one we call
with
smart
this
house.
intentional kind of building, you find that people live in strata. In strata. For instance, you can own here and stay while you pay your rent to the government, and then the next flat, people, and then when it's time and then the fact is that you can pay this thing, you can pay for this apartment for life, so you don't even feel it, like you're spending money on rent or on your what's it called, housing. You're not spending from so much sweat.
There are no real estate companies there.
The government has a good housing
Everything
scheme.
is
There's a very
regulated.
well organized, regulated
No.
housing scheme.
With that, bringing it to the environmental conservation perspective, as a climate activist, we've been, before I got to China, we've been talking about, China being the highest emitter of carbon
yes.
because of their industrial network. And do you know that while we are complaining that China is the highest emitter, they also have a way of taking care of themselves, mitigating the impact of whatever they're doing. For every kilometer you drive, there's another stretch of kilometers that is forested. I mean, intentionally planted forest. You know that. You know what forest are? Sequestration of carbon. So with this intention, and there's no street. It's only in China that you will see that trees. How do I? Do you have audience that do not understand the BBO? Okay, let me go with it. It's only in China that you see trees on the street with stakes, metal stakes, so they don't fall.
They don't fall.
So you see how much they value environmental conservation, right? So no matter you see them watering trees as tall as. What are you watering? This kind of trees.
A tall tree?
Yeah, they're watering, they're manuring, and they're like, come on. So you see, these are people that are intentional about environmental conservation. They're about how they do, and bringing in again the other part of emission. 90% of their cars. If I'm not underrating.
I want to go there.
90% or thereabout of their cars are electric. And to tell you how regulated they are, if they were to be in my country, there would have been plenty of road crashes because you will not hear the sound of bike that is approaching you, car that is approaching you. So if you don't maintain your lane, you will likely get hit by. So there are regulations that are lanes for vehicles, there are lanes for bike, there are lanes for pedestrian too. Though sometimes the bike people get into the pedestrian walkway, but there's how these things are regulated.
There are lanes for people that are using wheelchair.
Do you get? So there is the conservation of environment. It's just wow. So when I go back to Nigeria, the first one I spoke to is my boss in the environmental space. I said, okay, would they complain? Say China and then be highest emitter. Do you know these guys when they emit, they take care of themselves. Right. So while they're emitting, they are mitigating and they're creating people-centric solutions to whatever problem they may be facing as a people with regards to the environment. So I feel I give them excellent. In fact, I don't know if there's any way I could rate them. Maybe I didn't have to. I didn't have the opportunity to experience their medical services.
Okay.
He was talking about food, so you don't need to stress yourself too much to eat. With about 5 yen, you can walk into a supermarket and get a kong of noodles well prepared. All you need to do is add water, whether there is warm water or cold water, and you eat a proper yummy noodles. And of course, there are people that over there, they do a lot of noodles. So a street person, a hustler, doesn't have to kill himself to go and eat food.
Now, those the agriculture, who are the major players? Is it the government or the people?
Okay, now to the best of my understanding, there are companies, and these companies they have government present.
The food sector, agriculture, is being regulated by the government.
It's regulated.
Regulated.
No, let me.
So you cannot just.
You visited. Depending on the scale.
Depends on
the
You
scale.
do not own a land. So
That's where I was going. Because if you don't own the land,
Okay,
how do you call
Now
it?
let me. That's in every big institution, there is a representative of the government
Yes.
that represent the party. Remember, they have what's that party called? There's a
Chinese People's
Party.
Party, yeah.
And that's the biggest plus. So they have, and anybody that is at the top echelon of that party is in the government. So, for instance, it's like when PDP was a religion in Akwa Ibom, and then so for the state party chairman, he must be in the state government exco.
Okay.
You understand? He's either the secretary to the state government and doubles as the party chairman of PDP that was a religion. Do you get? So that way they are intertwined. Roles are intertwined. So you can't really, separate the party from the government. And for every establishment, there are people in top tiers of government.
Now, I want to get you clear. In every private establishment.
Not private per se. Remember, we're talking about being regulated here.
Yeah.
Now there's a. Let me take you to where you are going. Let me take you to where we are going to.
Okay.
There's an agricultural firm we went to. In this firm, they cater for everyone's need. They cater for the Chinese, and they cater for the other people. Like by other people. Now this is what I mean. They have the non-GMO product that mostly is fed to the Chinese people, and then they have the GMO product that goes to the market that makes money for them. And then they have the semi-GMO. That means that's how they put it. Like
they have specific production, specific markets.
Of course.
In the same country?
Yes. So the GMOs basically are for export. And these guys, you go into aquaculture, they are there. You go into crop, maize, rice production, they are there. You go into piggery, and as a matter of fact, they do a lot with pigs.
I think they are the highest producer of pigs.
They do a lot with pigs. They are there, and all of these, they have variants, GMO variant, non-GMO variant, all of these things. And then when we got to interact, we realized that most of the top tiers in that establishment also work with the government.
In the establishment?
Yeah,
yes.
True.
Okay.
They work with the government. And then you find out that this supposedly private entity is not truly a standalone entity like you would call a private enterprise. They are integrated
Into the
government. So that government policies, regulations, and even follow-up.
What I'm trying to understand here is that the government is involved with everything.
Yes.
Enterprise.
Yes.
So how is the business environment?
Now, let me help you. We went to Tansha province. Their market is not like Akpanandem, like Uraitam, where you have people gather. Their market is like this.
Like building.
Tall buildings.
You understand?
You need to use elevator.
So within this market,
within
this market, Providence is selling clothes, Ndiok is selling clothes, Udobod is selling clothes, he is selling clothes. And I come to Udobod, how much is this clothes? 20 naira. And I say, are you not selling 15? I come to you, you're still calling the same price for me, 20 naira. I go to Ndiok, 20, I go to him, 20. I was like, come on, how do you guys do it? So you don't even have to panic, say this one go chop me, except now you go do anyhow. They know that this one Johnny just come because remember I said something in the opener. See these guys that like Igbo people, they do business a lot. So once they realize that this one will be like not too sure, they go do you. Because all of them want to also make that profit. Yeah. But when it comes to market regulation, those guys, everything goes.
There's one thing I also observe in China markets. This phone, I might get this phone. There must be a production of this phone for 5 times, as in 5 different qualities of this phone. You might get this phone for 5 yuan. The other person will get this phone for 15 yuan. You can still get this phone for 20 yuan. You can still get this phone for 50 yuan.
That's why China is China.
Yeah. So now, what I'm trying to say is that 20 yuan phone you bought, the same phone with the 5 yuan can never be the same.
But
when you carry
the same product,
they'll make you understand.
They'll make you if you really want to understand. They will make you understand. But you might buy this phone for 5 yuan, another person will buy that same phone for 50 yuan. But you get to know that the one you bought for 5 yuan is lesser than the one you bought for 50 yuan.
Yeah. And they are going to let you know, because I can remember when I went to get the phone.
You bought the phone.
Yeah, there was a phone I picked. I loved the phone.
They tell you.
So I wanted to pay for the phone. We bargained the price. It was about 350 yuan. Then for me, it was very okay. It was very cheap. So when I wanted to continue the proceedings, the guy told me that the phone is not good.
No, what the guy actually did was that he told me, because I was the one discussing the price. The guy said, I don't want to sell this one. I said, no, but I like this one. We want to pay for this particular one.
The guy opened up.
The guy said, Phone is not good.
This one is not good.
So that is how China market.
If you go ahead to say you love it that way,
You
sell for you.
Sell for you.
So you
Why are
realize
selling
that,
phones are not
no,
good?
the fact is no,
It's not
phones
that
are not good.
it's
They
not
have
good.
they have something for
Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody has a market.
Everybody has
Do you
a
get?
market.
There's something for everybody, not premium or nothing. You understand? It's not premium or nothing. There's something for everyone.
Okay.
So, Providence, you can buy this shoe and wear, and then you still look good. Another person will buy that same shoe,
Yeah.
but different grade.
Different.
So, in fact, let me add to this to tell you how it is that they make life comfortable for everyone. You want to let's go to transportation. If you have 3 cars, except you register and pay for all of those 3 cars, you may not have to. You may not be needing them. Cars are regulated in Beijing, for
I think
instance.
in Beijing.
Yeah.
I think you cannot have more than
You cannot
Cars
have
are regulated,
Beijing.
and
Cannot
it's
have more
not
than 3 cars in
every
Beijing.
day that
Three
you
cars
bring out
or
your
a
car.
You cannot have more than
you
3.
cannot have more than a car in
Or
Beijing
more than a
province.
car, yes. You
Yeah.
cannot.
You don't bring out
Because
this
that's what I
car.
wanted to ask. Because if 1 billion people want to get cars,
You don't bring out your car
Not
every
every
day.
Every day.
There are days you drive. There are days you wait at the train station or at the bus station.
That day you use
And
the
even prefer-
roadside motorbike.
The people prefer that train
And
to
then-
using their cars.
And then for the poor masses, of course, poor masses are everywhere. There are bikes. When I got to China, I saw bikes. So there was why they careless like this? They
The
keep
bikes
buying.
are more than millions.
You understand?
You know the
Bikes are
bike from
everywhere.
Plaza to this place.
Bikes are
you
everywhere.
can't
So
count
in my
bikes.
findings, I got to realize that these bikes are owned by the government.
Government owns them.
Now, all you need to do, like we use WhatsApp here, they use WeChat, and in that
You have
WeChat,
to
your
pay.
bank, everything
Details,
everything about you is connected to. And whether you have money or not, all you need to do is, since you cannot afford to pay train, or if your distance does not warrant you to pay train, you cannot afford a bus fare or a taxi, you remove your phone, bring out your WeChat, scan the QR code.
I even use the bike. Man, I use one of those bikes.
Popsy, you go and join that place.
I saw you
I use
driving the bike.
I use one of the bikes. I wanted to drive that bike. I use one of the bike. Yeah.
So you just scan and then carry the bike. You ride to Itam,
Yeah.
leave the bike there, and go your
Another
way.
person will pick it
Another
from
person
there.
will pick.
When you are coming back, you pick another bike.
Okay,
It's-
electric
The
Yeah,
bike.
bike does not have you don't know. Maybe it's battery that is powering it.
It's a normal.
Some
Some are pedal, some are
pedal, some are
electrical.
electric. You just sit
Yes, sir.
and the
So
thing
you
is
just
going.
life is simple for everyone.
There's another thing
Across traffic.
about transportation. We talk about it. That one is only in Beijing province. They're telling us that in Beijing, before you own a car, everybody has an assigned plate number in Beijing.
Okay.
Means
Just as we
even
have
I
here.
have even I have money to buy 2, 3, 5, 4, 5 cars. I cannot own them because it's only one plate number. And before someone, okay, one of the tour guide that was taking us was telling us that he has the money to buy a car, but they have not given him his own plate number. So that is how they use in, because if they allow everybody to buy cars, there will be no space in Beijing. There will be no road for anybody to park. Because there are so many that people now even prefer using the train, normal taxi, than using your car. Because sometimes when you go and park your cars, you pay for parking. So you just say, okay, I'm going to walk, and you can just say, okay, let me use a train to walk, and it's very cheap. So now what they do in China now is that you apply for these plate numbers. Sometimes it takes the tour guide that was telling us that he said he has applied for the past 5 years.
Just a plate number.
Just a plate number,
So
and they have not
again,
given him a plate number for 5 years.
You can use it.
And he was telling me that something he wants to drive, he uses his father's car.
Yes.
Because the father has a plate
Plate
number.
number.
So if the car you are driving with a plate number, you cannot sell a car with a plate number in Beijing. When you want to sell off your car, you remove your plate number.
So that's your plate number.
That's
So you buy plate number first before you buy car.
You have to register and get the number.
Let's go and buy your plate number.
Everybody has their own. So that is just a bit of
Now,
transportation.
how do
in
you go see live in China, live in Nigeria?
I was supposed to go to maybe from here to Plaza. So I slept up in the bus. So the driver took me the distance from Uyo to Ikonepane. And the money was still the same amount of money.
Eh?
The same 2 yuan.
Why?
I don't know. Everybody. So if you like, let it be that you're supposed to
So
come
that
down
means they
at-
have routes.
Yeah, they have route.
Okay.
So the metro that is coming to this place, Atiku Abubakar, maybe bus stop 10. And there's another one that is 15. The one that is 10 cannot stop at 15. So me, I was supposed to enter Metro 20 and I'm going to enter Metro 10. So the Metro 10 took me to Ikorepene.
Was it a Nigerian factor you were trying to exhibit?
I was thinking, no, it's not that. I was just thinking when I get to that place, the driver will say, I am not. So no, the driver don't have business with me.
Village man in
So
China.
I got there, and when I got down, I now noticed that this place. So I now he showed a Chinese man the write up of where I was going to, and where I was going. He said, "No, you see, going far, far, far." So that was when I now discovered that this is China real life, not the Nigerian factor. So what they do in that place in China is a kind of operation that everybody is conscious of what you are about to do. So you don't just do a guesswork. Let me just get to the road. When I get to the road, I will, okay, let's get to the road. When we get to the road, we'll cross. You will be thinking of how to cross the road before you even thinking of going, leaving the house. So everybody works according to plan. Like when he was talking about people, government present in private organization. In Fujian Province, the deputy director of Junkao International Study Center, her name is Professor Ling Dume. That woman is the leader of the Farmers Democratic Party.
So the farmers have their own party.
They have their own
The
party.
political party.
Political party. Very
Only
big.
for farmers.
Only for farmers. Very big
Do
party.
they contest elections?
They do.
Yeah.
They contest election. They take part in the Chinese people. So the leader of the state chairman of the party is a woman, a 50-year-old woman. She's a professor. She's a lecturer in Fujian Agriculture and Forestry University, and she is one of the decision maker in Chinese People's Party.
Okay.
So they select people. There's no way you could say, "Oh, I am a member of PDP, so I don't have business in
APC government."
APC
Yeah,
government.
because
So I am a leader. I am a leader in YPP. So anything that the governor of PDP is doing, he's not doing well. He's not doing well. You don't do that.
All of us put hand.
All of us put hand to
We
put
can
the
work.
governor in PDP. So we must put hand together for the government to work. So you don't just come and criticize government and criticize a particular person in one party and say you're not doing well. So everybody is conscious of making things work. So you don't just walk in and you don't see a Chinese man and begin to condemn
The government.
the government. They don't sit down like we do in our country here. You sit down and say, "Oh, this party."
Because I just think there's nothing to condemn.
But there's nothing to condemn. What is it to condemn?
No,
You didn't say anything to condemn.
But-
There must be some criticism.
to me,
there are some
must be
criticism, but
Like they have nothing to condemn.
to me,
they
To
do.
them, they could. But to us,
For us,
that brings us to
No,
what
no,
we
no,
were.
I know what you're talking about.
That brings
For
us.
us,
From where
they say
you're
anything
coming
to
from,
condemn. Where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So that brings us to your question.
Eh,
How was it when I had done a couple of trips, and when my friend wanted to leave, he told me, "Oh, God, don't call her. I say, bros, you have to prepare your mind. Thank God you don't marry now. And when he gets to see this, he will laugh because he knows I'm talking about him. Thank God you don't marry, at least he gets to stabilize your mind emotionally. Because it's only if you're a wicked person that you will go to that place and come back not angry. So two things will happen to you. You'll be angry and you may be depressed.
I was
if
the
you are
last
not
person
strong.
to come down from the plane. In
So
Abuja.
when you
So
go out there and then you see the things that people have done intentionally, and then come back to the where it's supposed to be the richest black country, as they announce arrival, you're already gone. Fortunately for me, unfortunately this time around, I sat by the window. And then when we arrived in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja, and when they announced arrival, I could not look through the window because there was nothing enticing. There was nothing,
Very scary.
to write.
That will no escape in China.
No, their security is a bit too tight. It's a bit too tight for you to escape like that.
Let me tell you what the people does. Immediately you land in China, once your guard comes to pick you, once he took you to the hotel, or he or she
Before you get to the hotel, your
before you
passport
get
is
to the
already
hotel,
off.
the person will collect your passport.
All our passports.
So the trick they say, so we don't want you to misplace the passport. So they are keeping the passport so you don't run away.
Okay, so bringing back to the story,
Yeah.
It's like how do I put it? Well, let me be very blunt. It's like putting light and darkness, and you're trying to compare which one is brighter. Yeah, but you know, obviously this is light.
The darkness will run away now.
You understand? You know this one is light, and then this is dark, and then you want to compare which one is brighter. It's as clear as that. So you'll be depressed when you come back if you are not emotionally intelligent. I mean balanced, and then except like I said, you're a wicked person that does not want this country to prosper, that does not want this country to develop. That you will come back and still live a normal life.
No.
And that is why I shared in passing, you know, I talk to people that Onyemidem is a wicked and heartless person. Why do I say so? How would you not behave like a politician? And then you know that you've been to China before you join politics, and then you see game mind. They send people go China.
And it's not sending old people.
And you're not sending old people. You're sending young people. And if you look at the class of people he sends, not miscreants. People that will come back and question you, say, "Oga, sit up." You know, they don't be like this in the BA.
So what do people think that is in his mind?
I wouldn't know, because he does not behave like a politician. You're a typical politician, especially in our climate. We don't want you to see the light of day so that you will not come back, you know, to think in a different direction. We don't come back and be delusional. Like you should continue to be delusional, not come back to think right, and then to say that this thing is supposed to be done this way, or this is what I saw there, or you would normally go out there. Don't you see this thing?
This is what Onyemidem told us when we were about leaving. He sat us in his parlor and said, "This training that you guys are going, I've gone to this training over and over a time. This is the training that helps me to succeed when I was in telecom. This is the same training that is helping me to succeed in the National Assembly. So as you are going, open your ear, open your mind, and learn something." So what I think he's doing, he's trying to make us to be people that will take over from him. Yes. So he's trying to prepare people. So that's why he's not scared. It is only a leader that does not want to retire.
Because all of you can come together and form a group, coalition, and tell him,
why is it not
He said he wants to train 100 people. So what if these 100 people came and went to
I think another thing is, I like the mind shift that we are all getting from China, because if you look at the average people are going to China, just young people, that business people,
exposure is key to life.
That we still have a lot of years ahead of us. We have a lot of space for us to develop, and I love what he's doing. I think if a lot of people could think the way Onyemidem is thinking.
That's why I say he's not a politician.
Nigeria, because imagine us that have gone to China. There's nobody that can go to that country and come back and remain the same, except you are not intelligent, except you don't have anything you are doing, except you are stagnant in life. As far as you are developing yourself,
you'll be exposed.
Personally, I think there's a lot of improvement in my business. Even my conversation with people, even my relationship with people, even my approach to customers has really changed my business. Like, okay, when I came back, that I was even the packaging I'm selling.
Actually, the truth is that the way people will come to your business now is different.
It's completely different. Because I posted one guy called me, say, Papsi, did you go to do a shoe training in China that if your shoes are upgrade? Even though I didn't know the shoe training, but at least the training, the mindset
opens your mind.
It opens our mind. Let us understand that these are things we're supposed to do. These are things that you are supposed to do to your business. These are things you're supposed to do it right. And you're supposed to do it very well without anybody. Because that is the problem you're having in Nigeria. Because the government, the people in the government, I think the mindset they are having there is that there's one word is if I catch this one,
the cat mentality.
The mentality the government have, but Onyemidem doesn't have such mentality. That's why I must say kudos to him, because what he has done to us, what he's going to do for the many people that he said 100
people are still going.
I'm talking to you.
The next couple of days you will see president.
And other people are on their way, and I think they are doing the operations in Abuja. They're still one or two.
So you cannot have a China Republic in a.
Already we have a China Republic.
The only problem now is that Papsi refused to learn Chinese language.
Okay, maybe he did not. I learned thank you.
Okay, you can send him.
Ching chong.
Thank you in China is Sise. Sisene. That is thank you very much.
What is in a shishi?
Yeah, no, maybe my phone.
You
Sisene.
didn't learn the language.
No, Okarafo must enter inside.
The way you can inculcate that language.
Yes.
Now let's talk about work ethics.
Mm.
I don't know what people observe. How is the work ethics there? Now, do they take their work seriously? Like, we have problem with work ethics in Nigeria.
Okay.
People have problem with working, but everybody want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But they have problem with working. Like, they don't want to put in the energy. Now, from what you've observed, is China working because people are working, or just because the government?
Okay, there's one thing I observe about work ethics in China is punctuality. Because there's no time we go for lectures and we don't go to see a lecturer waiting for us.
The lecturer is waiting in the hall for you.
Even there's one of these days, there was supposed to be a rain the next day. We didn't know. So coming back like tomorrow is the rainy day. Our guide already forecast tomorrow. She knows there will be rain tomorrow. You know what she did? When we came back from the evening class of the day before the day, she came to all of our rooms and gifted us umbrellas. To me, I was just
You don't have excuse.
To me, I was just thinking,
Souvenir.
maybe it's a souvenir. Two months umbrella for what
It's going to
now?
waste very
You
hot.
understand? So the next morning, when you wake up, there was a heavy downpour. When I remember that, okay, this umbrella was for today.
Was for this rain.
You understand? That is the way Chinese people
So
think.
nice.
They can
The way
give you
they walk-
umbrella for heavy rain and a very hot
you understand?
sun.
The way they walk, that was a mind shift for me. Like, she knows there will be rain tomorrow, and you have no excuse to be in class. So going to class, you need an umbrella. And we coming from we didn't have any umbrellas with us. So these things were there.
The normal Nigerian.
Nobody go say if you like you go to class. If you like you go class, nobody go say.
Why will you go to school when you're
Your lecturer will send a message to the group. There will be no class.
The lecturer is even waiting, even with that rain for you. So
No.
the ethics, that punctuality aspect, even when we are going out, maybe you are going for a talk for another location, the bus they will be waiting for us at the hotel room. The bus will be there 15 minutes or 20 minutes before the departure. There's no time you say, okay, wait, the bus is coming, or there's traffic. They knows the traffic, they knows how to move. So that ethics, that work ethics, that part of punctuality, I think I've really given them edge.
Okay, now let me add something to that. We went to a tea company and something phenomenal happened. Now, what was that? For instance, you go to a supermarket across the Atiku Abubakar way now, and then you go there to buy something, and the sales girl or salesboy will internally tell you that she does not have 15 naira change for you. And then you look at it, give me my change now. You say, oh God, now come on 50.
No.
We went to a tea company and I was looking for what to buy. The teas were expensive beyond the physical cash I had, and there was no way I could do online transactions. So, I gave them the money. They did not have change, and we were multitude of people in that place. So, normal Nigerian me, I just come out, leave there, collect the tea while I buy, move. To my surprise and consternation, I see person. I don't the gist with other people. They know we're going around the place and seeing their products and how their processes. I heard a tap on my back, and they could not speak English.
Yeah.
And then all that would handed me teas, other than what I wanted, equivalent to what was left as balance. And then I was like, "What for? Hey, change." That's when I remembered that. Oh, wow.
You had a change.
Yeah. And I was like, come on. So someone will have this kind of opportunity. I know, say that one don't carry and transport go reach house.
Your own was changed.
You
My
understand?
own is like you are seated here, we finish interacting, and I put that in my pocket and say, okay, well, let me appreciate you. The guy said that he doesn't.
Now, what does this do? what this does is it builds trust. It builds trust. So imagine me now going back to that place. I can trade with you or whatever, without really having. I can go back to. So there's a place for brand reputation in that. What happened? There's a place for brand reputation. There's a place for trust, and then there's a place for this
Due process.
Due process.
Due process, yes.
as you want to put it. So I don't know how we can infuse that into
What do we?
we
Nigeria.
the people, you know,
The people
of the Federal Republic.
You want to teach us?
No, you can. We can actually learn.
We can.
We can actually learn.
We talk about we. We are talking about which we.
Yes, all of us.
Including you, Providence.
Now, on the work ethics, let me bring it to the present Nigeria startup. You know, we were privileged to visit a wheat bank.
Wheat bank. What do you mean?
Wheat bank.
Where
No,
they
by
put
wheat bank, I
Igbo.
mean, you know, in China,
In China, they have
for every
discovered
Plants.
new grass or
Both the
new
one
plant they have
that they have
discovered, the one
that
they
is useful
had
to them,
before.
and the one that is still weed, they have their seed stored in the bank.
Oh.
They have people carrying out
Okay,
research
some sort of
and
seed
keeping the
bank.
seed. While they are
Now,
doing the research, people
That
the
is
seed
a sort of
is in the
an
bank, so that-
agricultural sector where people are working. We visited the wheat bank. We visited their mushroom companies. We visited some parts that are
So organized.
and I found out that you can pass if you are passing on the road. You look at that place. It will look as a place that is inactive because of the way their building
They are-
is.
they are building
It is
the
when you
trees.
approach the building, you know that there is electricity functioning in the place. People are there working 247.
No, you're not hearing machines.
No,
Why would- there's no noise in that place.
They regulate it.
These are the owners of
You will be
technology.
comfortable.
There's no noise.
They regulate in such a way. you will
No,
be
I know I
comfortable.
asked the question.
Now,
Yeah, because a typical Nigerian, maybe you are producing
Now-
water, you would have here.
now what happens is that when you go into the place, everybody are there. Then the government are taking care of, or the sector, if it is a private sector
private
that with the
sector.
government presence is taking care of those people. Then when we went to the mushroom industry, I asked them for how long do your workers stay here? It's okay. For a day, work hour is about 5 to 6 hours.
5 to 6 hours.
Yeah, that you get to work there. Then what came into my mind was how I was working at the Young Etienne from 8 o'clock in the morning. And you'll be
Sometimes 10 o'clock.
and you'll be struggling and you'll be trying to pack so that you rush back to finish your house. It'll be 8 o'clock. I don't care. 5 to 6 hours for a whole day. Yeah, that is the work day.
If you work more than that, they pay you.
Now, they are paying.
Their working hours is just 6 hours.
Yes. And they are paying them. I asked them, so how is their pay? They say, okay, they earn 120 yuan per day.
My editor's actually watching you.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You're talking about 6 hours. It's
You
strange.
work for 5 to 6 hours and you are paid 120 yuan per day.
120 yen per day.
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
That's for the 6 hours that you work for the
100,
whole day.
120 and 120
About
should be
20 yuan
about-
per hour.
So that's like how much in naira?
That should be around 30 something thousand.
30 something K.
Yeah.
You're being paid daily.
Yeah,
30,000.
yes.
No.
You know, now,
And that place that you are working, you are entitled to eat food.
now,
They are giving you
Outside that day.
now look at that kind of ambient where you are working. There's electricity there. Let's say you regulate the temperature of the place to your comfort. You do everything to your comfort, and you are working. You are sure when you are living, and the transport is not expensive. For as low as 1 yuan, you can pick a vehicle from Ibom Plaza to Abak. 1 yuan.
So when you make 30 yuan,
Coin.
you can now use one.
So just imagine you getting
transport.
making.
Sometimes the company
Some company might have vehicles
vehicle, they will come and carry
that
you.
will carry their staffs, and you see things are very comfortable. Then with that, there is no sane person who will not
Okay,
deliver.
I have seen why the roads are normal. People are now walking normal.
I don't have it right.
There are not people around there.
There's something I also discovered in that place. Like this place, you are running this podcast. Assuming you have the idea of podcast, then another person has money to set up this facility, all of this equipment. Then another person has this building. So you don't need to go and beg the person,
pay
I
rent.
want to rent this place.
We'll
Just
just
tell the
collaborate.
person,
You can
I want to
rent.
do this kind of business. We need your building. The person will be part of the business. That is why they are growing. The person does not need to, bring 1 million naira and rent this place. The person will tell you, okay, let's do the business together. You have the idea. The other person has the facility, the equipment. Then the
I
other
have
person
the
holds
building. Now
the
let's
building.
kickstart the
Let's
business
kickstart. So we can now meet community, the village where this building is, and tell the community leader, we want to use so location and do business. We need people to come and invest money. The village will contribute money. and give you, and they will send one representative to come and stay here and also be a staff.
No, the way they are treating you, they are normal human beings there.
No, they're not even.
So the business, you're not running like, yeah, I'm doing my business, let me do it anyhow. You know that
It's a community business.
it's a community business.
Everybody has effort.
So everybody is getting paid from that place. Everybody will do the right thing. And you will not cheat. You will not see somebody that you're supposed to pay 120 yuan. You now begin to pay the person 15 yuan and say, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you know, if we want to keep this conversation, we can talk from now.
Yeah.
I feel that we should break this into episode.
Okay.
Next time we come again, we'll discuss sector by sector.
Yeah.
The things that you people actually went to learn and how you can apply. Before we go, I want to know that significant experience you had. That experience that you had that actually turned your mindset or turned the way you think or to affect your business, affect the way you live. One special, I want you to hear that special experience you had.
Okay,
Maybe
for me, I would say it's everybody taking responsibility. So you take responsibility of whatever it is you're doing. Whether you're working for the government, you take responsibility. You don't wait till people come to your office to tip you before you do the work you're actually doing.
they don't tip people there.
Why?
Okay.
So you take responsibility. You are selling in the market. You take responsibility of what you're selling, and then you do your thing as you should. And that has come to be a part of the things I do since I returned. I take absolute responsibility of the things I do, even the things I say. If I'm saying a thing now, I have to be very conscious. So that
responsible for whatever you say.
Because I know everything I say has consequences. So I take responsibility of my life. And that way you find out that if all of us, imbibe that attitude of taking responsibility, will not really pass blames. You see that there will be less road crash because I will be responsible for how I drive. There will be no road crash. There will be no accident basically, because if you're responsible, you will watch two ways. Something happened to me about 2012 on 4-lane, the middle lane that is supposed to be single carriageway. I wanted to cross. I did not know that somebody was driving the wrong lane on speed. I don't know what happened that I jumped back into the pavement. So anywhere I find myself in Nigeria now,
You look at the two-sided.
whether if like let it be 2000 lane, I will look at both ways before I cross.
Okay.
You understand? So so if we take responsibility, there wouldn't be that kind of situation, because you'll be sure, oh God, this way, I need to look two ways before I cross. So all of us will take responsibility, and that way, and the government, very important, because I can't really say a thing without talking about the government. I'm not here to lambast the government. You are trying good, but you're not doing it as you should.
You think we should take the government to China? But they've gone there,
We are the government. We have gone there.
Providence, I've been thinking about something. You just want to trigger me.
We should pack one of the leaders.
Are you sure?
We have been going to China. All of our president and other leaders have been going to China. They have seen all of this.
Are you sure that these guys do not even have the investment that most of the high-rise buildings that we have are not? Some of them are not owned by Nigerian politicians.
It's possible.
How sure you know?
They are businessmen.
You understand? So, to the people in power, please be intentional, be deliberate. Take responsibility. No be money they'll tell me you go the thief for that place. Not to go do work. Save the people. You still have your salary, and then for the governors and president, I think they even go on with retirement benefit that can even feed their families for life. So if you have a retirement plan, why then do you still steal and loot the people?
Their children are not here, so
All right.
Let's hear from you.
Okay, what I have actually learned that I will live
With you forever.
with it forever is because it's one thing, and that one thing is that I'm not living because I just want to get satisfied. Everything I want to have is for me and my family. I've gone to an environment, a society where whatever you are making, the business you are doing is not just for you. There are people that is part of the business that you must, that indirectly your responsibility.
Yeah, get it.
So I have gone to a place where, even though in this level that we are seeing our country is not working, there are people that should have taken responsibility of making the country work, but they are not working.
No,
They
it's
are
working
not
for some people.
He's working for some. So I have decided to take responsibility of contributing my effort to make the country, if it is going
The
to
people that will bring here will prove to you that this country
is working.
is
Of course.
So I'm seeing I'm living a life. Since I returned, everything about my orientation has changed.
Okay.
To making either my village, my family, my country, the association I am belonging to work within my ability. You get? So it is only when we're intentional about things like this, that's when we'll now begin to be intentional about the entire country. If we're not intentional about our environment, our family, if the life is only for myself, oh, God will know, but I just want to do business, make money, buy a car, marry a wife, do business, take my wife out of my children out of this country, wherever I go, once it is better for me, I am okay.
Mindset, yes,
I am
sir.
okay.
It's a jungle.
So no, I have learned not to live a jungle life again.
Yeah. Jungle is about personal survival.
So
All right. You?
Okay. One particular mind shift that I got after the trip was that I learned that for everything I do, I should be mindful of how it impacts the next person, be it positive or negative. Yeah, because I will always be grateful to Right Honorable Medium. Yeah, because one of the things he said while I was in his residence, he said he's doing these things because these things actually helped him.
Yeah.
He went into government. Almost all the parts after he looked around, he couldn't see any Akwa person in the position of director, deputy director, in good positions. And he was like, how
Can I change it?
can I change this? There is a saying that I actually tapped from him when he started government. He talked about doing something that a word of thank you will not be heard by you. That is, even when you are gone, people are still saying thank you. That time you are not hearing it.
yeah, that's really
That is true leadership. So he's intentional. After my government, how is this government of mine? How are the things I'm doing? How is it going to impact the next person, the generation coming after me? So I've actually learned that whatever you're doing, be intentional.
Conscious about
How is my action going to affect the next person? And it must always be affecting them on the positive.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Babsy.
Okay, I think as Edion Senyere said, I think the major mind shift is the way of life. The way I saw the way people were doing things in China, it's not the normal way you see everybody in Nigeria running here doing this. Sometimes we see people run on the road without aiming anything. You understand?
No target.
No targets. So in China, I discovered that before you see someone move from point A to point B, there must be a target. You understand?
That target must be achieved.
It must be achieved. So this idea have shifted my mind that even in my business now, I don't just do this because I want to do it.
Every action.
There must be a target about anything you do. So if we have this shifting in mind, I think we will have a better society here.
That's very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Thank you guys for coming. And I think I'll bring you again. So I'll have this conversation.
Okay, let me before you are we going?
No.
Okay, let me just say let me say I think we didn't have an opportunity to say thank you.
Thank you to
to
Unyimide,
our leader.
Representative
Because without him, this conversation would not have been happening. So I think say kudos to Unyimide. I think he's one of let me not say I think he's the best that have come out from Akwa Ibom State in the national.
It's the best that we have ever had in Nigeria.
There's no.
So what are you trying to say?
No. The truth is what? No.
House of Reps. We've never had this.
No. Don't go that way because Providence will be angry. I want to come back. Godwin, I want to come back to this podcast. So let me thank Unyimide for as a consistency we've never had this.
We have never had this.
We used to have the first I ever heard was I Concur. And then the next one they said was a druggie. That was their business. And then for the first time we'll have someone in the floor that will stand up and announce himself representing. We used to hear
you have not heard of the one that used to say those in support say hi.
So we've got visibility in the National Assembly.
Yes.
And then we've got the lofty projects we've experienced. And then very importantly, I told him something when we met in Abuja. I said, sir, the things you are doing will outlive you. God forbid something happened to you today.
bet.
But I can assure you that your children will never suffer.
And you know one thing about these trips, Unimidem doesn't just take anybody to China. What I've seen, the people I've seen going to China so far, like personally, I don't think it's political leader.
No condition.
He doesn't need a stakeholder to recommend you.
I don't know how he does the selection.
There's no particular say because me I don't have originally.
You don't have a stakeholder.
I don't have anybody that will say.
I think you have a
myself.
connection with him.
I come from a village that I don't have a leader in politics that can recommend you.
Okay, on the day.
You know, people when they saw me travel, people come into my DM. How do I also please?
When you say you are confused.
I told them that if they ask me how did you make the list,
You don't
I don't know.
When I get a message from his PA that you should get your visa, your passport ready, I was like, how? What happened? I was trying. He just said no. Olympi said I should reach out to you. I don't know how he reached out. In fact, the first day I met Unyimidem one-on-one was the day I went to his house in Abuja with this trip. When I said I'm Odudu, he said, you're the Odudu. I said, yes. I said, you're doing well. I've seen what you're doing. Maybe he's seen my work on
He's an
Facebook.
intentional leader.
You know,
He's not just leading. He's
you
paying
understand?
attention.
He knows
to
that
people.
if this guy is doing well, let him go there. Okay, just like you said, Ogayene.
The day you called Ogajene, let me know you guys have mentioned his name. That's what I was talking about. The day you called,
I'll bring
He
this
said, what did he? I said, I had to send, Ogajene never had his number.
Even me.
And he called his office line, Ogajene's office line. So I had to send his number to Ogajene to confirm. Say, guy, how did this one take happen? Because I don't know him. And like when I say I don't know him, we don't have such.
You don't have that
I don't even
conversation.
have his contact. And so how he does this, he will call. I was in school that day studying, and then my name is Sonyu Midem. I want to send you to China. I thought it was this.
419.
No, not 419. You know this politicians' phone call that they pre-recorded, that they pay network providers to call you. So I wanted to end. The only thing is that I had his contact about that time, so I was convinced. Because how would you just call me? My name is Sonyu Midem.
Without applying for anything.
I want to send you
Without
to
even
China.
asking.
You don't even apply.
My own way, I was interfacing with him. We just chat.
Because you're
Normal, good
police.
morning.
I
He said, "You have international passport." I said,
I got his number from him.
You are a
In
stakeholder.
Abuja.
There's no problem. Yeah. Stakeholder.
So what
No, he knows me, but I never thought he would tell me come and go to China.
What we'll say now is just that God should bless
Bless him.
Honestly.
We are grateful.
Honestly.
We are grateful, and we trust that you will keep the flag flying
Yes.
and make sure that nothing derails you. We the people, we love you
So
and
much.
we celebrate you. Absolutely, sir.
I wanted to close with that, but that's a very fine place to close. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Now, that's to be our episode for today. And please do not also forget that the illiterate of the 21st century are not those who did not go to school or those who will not go to school, but are those who have refused to evolve as their environment is evolving. My name is Providence. See you again.